Good morning. My name is Craig Manazzi, Superintendent of Schools. It is Thursday morning, February 23rd, and our guest today is Mr. Jason Kurth, our Director of Technology. Welcome to our show, Jason.
Thank you.
Both Jason and I have been in the district now for about 8 months, starting on July 1st, and so let's get to know Jason a little bit better and talk a little bit about his background and where he came from before coming to Southeast Polk.
Okay, I'll be glad to share a little bit of information. Previous to coming to Southeast Polk, I was in the Fairfield School District for 14 years. Prior to that, I attended Iowa State University, had a degree in elementary education with an emphasis in instructional technology. Graduated from high school in Jefferson Scranton High School. I'm currently married. My wife was a 4th grade teacher in Fairfield for 13 years. And we have 2 children, a daughter in 3rd grade and a son in kindergarten at Altoona Elementary.
Jason and his team have been very busy since arriving, so let's talk a little bit about some of the things that have been going on with technology, some of the improvements that we've made. We've had a lot of things going on both for staff and students. Jason, talk a little bit about what has gone on since your arrival.
So I want to kind of back up a little bit. The technology department is new to Southeast Polk. It's previously to my coming on board July 1st, they had outsourced with a consulting company. So the team that we have now is actually Southeast Polk employees. So that I think is a really nice fit. So we all came on board July 1st. We all kind of baptism by fire, as they say. We just kind of hit the road running. One of the things that we noticed right away, one of the big problems that we had to conquer, it was our network speed. The speed of the network is really slow, and we didn't realize just how slow until teachers came back and classes started. And unfortunately, 2 weeks into the year, we had to kind of take the network apart, so to speak, and kind of reconfigure it. It took about 2 weeks to kind of get through that. It was very chaotic. Teachers couldn't print. They couldn't access the resources they were used to. But we kept communicating with them that it would get better, and it did. Within probably 2 weeks of that major project, the speed of the network and our internet connection improved quite a bit. We still have quite a few projects that we're working on. One we just visited about yesterday. We still need to look at our network infrastructure, and that's kind of just the engine that runs everything. It's what's all behind the scenes with the wiring and the switches. We're looking at some major upgrades there. And we're also looking at kind of a unified phone system for the district, because right now we have a phone system or the central campus here. Each elementary has their own phone system, so there's really very little interconnectivity between the phones in terms of being able to dial a four-digit extension and reach somebody at Clay Elementary or Altoona Elementary. On probably more of the student front, we are implementing a lot of iPads recently. The junior high, with some fundraising money, was able to purchase 120 iPads, and 50 of those are divided into 2 carts for student use. The remaining iPads were assigned to staff the remainder of this year, so they kind of get really comfortable with the iPads and come up with some ideas on how to effectively use those in the classroom. So I believe Mr. Daly's plans over the summer is to take those teacher iPads and put them in additional carts to increase the number of iPads available to students. And we have a number of elementary buildings that are kind of jumping on board with us. They're working with their PTAs and PTOs to help fund the purchase of 15 or 30 or 40 iPads that we can get in the hands of kids and really get kind of teachers comfortable using technology. One of the things I noticed first off the bat coming into Southeast Polk is at the elementary level, each building only has 1 computer lab and no access to any other mobile technology whatsoever. So it could be a building with 200 kids or a building with 500 kids. They still have just 30 computers in a lab, compared to like a junior high that has 6 computer labs for 1,000 students, plus an additional 2 labs for teaching throughout the day. So,
well, Jason and his team have obviously been very busy since starting their work, and one of the things that I want our audience to understand is Jason is an educator and truly understands the importance of implementation of technology in the classroom. He understands the integration process and all of that along the way. Jason, talk to us a little bit about the mix between curriculum and technology really being the tool to support curriculum. So we talk about that a little bit too, and that philosophy.
In addition to you and I coming on board July 1st, we also had a new curriculum director, Joellen Latham, come on board July 1st. So From day one, we've had a really good working relationship, a good partnership. And Mr. Minazzi alluded, the technology is a tool. Curriculum is what drives our district. It's important that we have quality instruction, K through 12, and that technology not be just kind of a flash in the pan type tool that we're using, that it really be integrated within the curriculum, that it really help impact student learning, that it's a tool that can enhance learning for kids, it can enhance teachers' ability to really get through to students, engage the kids, and really kind of become 21st century learners. So, that's probably, throughout the week. I'm in meetings with Joe Allen, conversations, emails back and forth continuously just about what I'm doing, what she's doing. I attend a lot of the same meetings that she has so that I'm on board with what her goals are for the curriculum, and that the technology that we purchase kind of aligns with those goals.
Well, now I have a few questions that the students have generated I want to ask you here too.
Okay.
So, how do you personally keep up with all the latest trends in technology? So I think the kids are probably asking, what does Mr. Kurth do for his own professional development? How does he keep up with all the fast-moving changes in technology?
Well, I try to keep the big picture in mind. I don't get too focused on a lot of the little technical things. I just try to look at big picture things, where the trends are going. Obviously, I read some educational journals and some technology and educational journals. You attend conferences. I'm on the board of our state technology conference, so that really kind of keeps me in the loop as far as what the trends are and what things are happening that are going to impact schools. Being the technology director, people assume that I'm taking apart computers and that I have a vast understanding of all the technical aspects. But having such a broad scope in terms of that connection with curriculum and technology, I focus more on integration, and I have the technicians that can really dig into the computers. They understand the technical part. I mean, I do have an understanding, but my day-to-day routine doesn't really include going into a classroom and sitting down and fixing a computer and tearing it apart and putting in a new hard drive. So the trends that I focus on are more the big picture trends that focus on integration of technology within the curriculum.
That is really a good point, and one that's very, very important, that we hired Jason not to be a technician, and again, he can do all that kind of work, but we wanted him to be an educator and to lead technology with curriculum in the classroom. And so there's a big difference, because some districts hire more of a hardware kind of person to lead technology, so that is a significant difference, and I think one philosophically where we definitely need to be. Talk a little bit more, Mr. Kurth, about, and you have a little bit with the laptops, but the one-on-one initiatives going on around our state, and kind of some of your thoughts there nationwide. There's a lot about getting a piece of technology in the hands of all students. Talk a little bit more about the kinds of things that need to happen there, your visit up to Waverly and everything too, if you would.
Okay. Within the state of Iowa alone, I think we've reached the 100 mark. There's 100 school districts that at one level, it could be middle school, junior high, high school, or a certain grade level, have gone to a one-to-one approach where they have a device, and that device could be an iPad, a MacBook, an Apple laptop, or a PC. So 100 different schools have jumped on board. But unfortunately, I think many of those schools have jumped on board just to be on board. I mean, that's kind of the trend. And they haven't spent enough time looking at where their curriculum's at, and that the technology is truly going to support the curriculum. And I think we're hearing some of those stories where they're just not as successful as what they had hoped to be. So we certainly want to get on board somewhere down the road, but we want to do it the right way. We want to make sure that what we have in place instructionally is sound, and that any technology we bring on board is going to mix into that really well and integrate in and strengthen what we're trying to do. In order to do that, it kind of goes back to some previous projects we're working on. With the network infrastructure, we have to be able to support, like a high school of 1,800 kids, we have to be able to support 1,800 laptops on our network. And right now, our internet connection is not equipped to do that. So we are looking at solutions to increase that even now. And if we were to go one-to-one, we'd have to even increase it more. In addition, with our network, the engine that drives everything behind the scenes, we're looking at making some upgrades so that if something were to happen in 24 or 36 months, we'd be prepared to handle such a one-to-one deployment.
Well, as you can tell, there's lots of things going on with technology and with students and student learning. So Appreciate having Mr. Kurth here as my guest this morning, and thank you to Ms. Hantelman and to Emily for filming us too. Thank you.
Thank you.